Hello and welcome to MISD Assessment's video-based training on test security for 2018. This video is presented by the Mansfield ISD Department of Research, Assessment, and Accountability and is designed for campus testing coordinators in the Mansfield ISD, in addition to other staff members who will help supervise state assessments by which they can initiate their state-mandated training for the 2018 calendar year. This video will last approximately 15 minutes and will cover the items listed on screen. Regarding changes for 2018, we will focus primarily on adjustments to the dates for STAR testing. The most prominent assessment coordinated by TEA in 2018 will be the State of Texas Assessments of Academic Readiness, better known as STAR, now in its 7th year. TEA will also oversee the administration of the TELPAS and STAR Alternate 2 tests statewide. However, this video will spend a minimal amount of time addressing topics related to those assessments. And for the 3rd year, Pearson will manage the delivery of TELPAS and STAR Alternate 2, while ETS will manage the delivery of STAR. Changes for 2018 are minimal but likely welcome because the first round of STAR, which impacts the grades and subjects shown, has been moved 2 weeks later under TEA's testing calendar for 2018. TEA has also made minor adjustments to designated supports that are expected to allow campuses more flexibility in offering students the support they need on STAR. Details on those changes will be discussed in our video on test accommodations. The primary reference for test security and procedures remains the District and Campus Coordinator Manual, the 2018 edition of whose cover pages you see here. It includes general security procedures along with details on STAR, STAR Alternate 2, and TELPAS. The DCCM is available electronically on MISD Assessment's Google Drive public folder, as well as the URL listed at the bottom of the screen, and hard copies were delivered to campuses in January. Regarding test security, it's always useful to recall the fundamental concerns and core areas surrounding it. TEA requires security of test materials for the same basic reason a teacher protects his or her own testing content, to protect the integrity of the system and process. Additionally, TEA requires school officials to maintain protocols of confidentiality, both of test content and student results, to maintain their validity. It's no different from a teacher seeking to prevent cheating, because students who have access to test content or answers are not truly assessed on their academic learning, and the process is thereby undermined. Students also have a right to privacy regarding their academic performance. This is why student data, in addition to test materials and content, must be handled with security protocols in place. Before we address test security as it pertains to STAR, it's important to address additional security measures required by TEA with regard to TELPAS. Because TELPAS requires teachers to assign objective ratings as they assess the English language proficiency of ELL students, teachers must complete calibration activities to demonstrate their own competency with the state's English language proficiency standards and their corresponding TELPAS performance level descriptors. So, to maintain the integrity of that system, TEA offers requirements regarding TELPAS teacher calibration, including independent completion of training and calibration and confidentiality of teacher performance. As in 2017, campus administrators are responsible for monitoring calibration activities to ensure their security, as well as protecting teacher results. Moving on to security issues pertaining more closely to STAR testing, campuses must implement procedures prior to testing to ensure proper test security. Each campus should maintain a specific secure area with access limited only to a few individuals for the storage of test materials. Anything accessible with a master key or multiple room keys is insufficient. The secure storage area must be available only to a handful of individuals. When materials arrive prior to a given test administration, CTCs should verify the shipment is complete and ensure that all secure materials are stored and moved appropriately. Campuses should also confirm that all documentation regarding individual student accommodations and supports is current and accurate. Campuses must address their own logistics for testing, including preparing required documentation, ensuring each space used for testing is appropriately configured to minimize student distractions and eliminate unfair advantages, and planning for emergency situations such as fire alarms and/or power outages. Most importantly, teachers and staff must be trained each calendar year on their own responsibilities related to handling of test materials and administration of testing. Each staff member who may be involved in testing must sign an oath of test security and confidentiality, acknowledging he or she understands and accepts responsibility for his or her role. Although campuses are required to offer training on test procedures in a face-to-face setting, TEA offers free training resources online at the URL noted at the top of this frame. These resources are designed to supplement campus training. TEA's training is separated into 3 modules that, while unspectacular, are in fact complete and comprehensive. These resources are especially useful if a staff member is absent from campus training or if he or she could benefit from additional reinforcement of the topics presented. This frame shows portions of the 2018 Oath of Test Security and Confidentiality for test administrators. Teachers and staff are required to initial each statement and sign the document to acknowledge their responsibilities. Any test administrator who will be authorized to view secure materials because of student accommodations is also required to sign the area indicating he or she will not divulge or copy test content. Campuses should obtain an oath for every staff member who may be involved in testing. The oath is valid for all testing in calendar year 2018. Campuses should keep a copy of every oath with state assessment documentation files for 5 years. Additional documentation related to test security include materials control forms and seating charts as shown on this frame. The materials control form is designed to track movement of secure materials to and from the secure storage area. When a test administrator accepts materials for a testing location, he or she assumes professional responsibility for each book and answer document. If secure materials are lost, stolen, altered, or damaged after the staff member accepts them, that staff member assumes the liability, so he or she must be careful to follow the protocols established through security training. Notice that STAR Alternate 2 includes a different materials control form. This is because STAR Alternate 2 procedures allow teachers to examine materials prior to testing for the purpose of determining student accommodations. The materials control form for STAR Alt 2 therefore requires the CTC to verify the return of materials each day they're checked out. Test administration seating charts are required for every room in which students test, whether on paper or online. Every seating chart should include the name of every test administrator who monitored the room, as well as the start and stop time for the room. This particular form includes student information on the grid itself, but a campus can choose to use roster lists with simpler charts. All of these documents should be kept in campus state assessment files for 5 years. While students are actually testing, the adult serving as test administrator bears several responsibilities, including distributing materials properly, completing required documentation, and confirming that student data on answer documents is complete. Most importantly, every test administrator is responsible for actively monitoring the activity in the room, ensuring that students are staying on task, working independently, and marking answers on the answer document. And yes, watching students take a test is boring at every grade level and in every subject. But active monitoring is still the best preventive measure for a variety of potential problems, from issues like student cheating to unintentional activities like a student who cannot stay focused and needs simple reminders. There still remains a clear inverse relationship between active monitoring and testing incidents. Timing restrictions for STAR remain the same as in previous years. Students are still allotted 4 hours for all STAR tests, the only exceptions being English 1 and English 2 EOC, which allow 5 hours for testing. Students may finish in less time, particularly in earlier grades, but every student is still allowed up to 4 hours to complete the STAR. Test administrators should periodically inform students of time remaining and should record the clock time for the beginning and end of testing on the seating chart. Remember, timing does not stop for student-initiated breaks. It only stops if an event affects all students or if a student requires medical attention. Lastly, and for some of you, sadly, TEA will continue to collect time-to-test data for some students in grades 3 through 8. This will only affect students who take longer to test and helps TEA determine if adjustments to test items should be made. Details on these procedures will be addressed in STAR 3 through 8 procedures training later in February. As for TEA's rules concerning the confidentiality of test content, it is imperative for campus staff to understand that test content is intended for students' eyes only, and answers are to be completed by students only. Furthermore, students are required to avoid discussing test content or taking notes over the content they see on the STAR. And certainly no teacher should ever look inside a test book or even ask students about the content of the STAR test. In some specific situations, TEA does allow photocopying or viewing of test content by staff, but anyone authorized to do so is forbidden from sharing or revealing content. And the Oath of Confidentiality also has a separate section for test administrators who might view test content, wherein they assert that they will not reveal or discuss items on the test. Because all STAR tests will be available in both paper and online formats in 2018, each format has a unique set of concerns that impact test security. For paper testing, campuses must account for every student, accurately code answer documents, destroy certain papers, and ensure that it accounts for and returns every test book that was delivered. For online testing, campuses must ensure that the ETS secure browser is installed and used on every computer on which a student tests, manage student test tickets with access codes to test content, address technical issues, and destroy certain papers. Also, remember that TEA requires seating charts for rooms in which online testing occurs, not just paper testing. This frame shows the items to keep on file after a test administration. TEA has not changed any requirements here for 2018. The list remains the same and the time frame remains 5 years. As in years past, MISD assessment will provide a form by which each campus must document its test security procedures. Our office will ask for only one test security documentation form for calendar year 2018, unless any procedures change from a primary administration to a retest administration. Ideally, none of us will have to worry about this frame because everyone will follow procedures properly and no incidents that may be irregularities will occur. But it's not a perfect world, so we need to understand what to do if imperfection rears its ugly head. First, remember that serious irregularities involve an intentional breach of test security principles. These should never occur. However, sometimes the occasional staff member chooses poorly. Obviously, campus-level training should encourage staff to choose wisely and address the basic consequence of a poor choice. Most irregularities are procedural in nature, involving an unintentional mistake in one of the areas listed. Our expectation is that each campus provides thorough training and support to staff so that everyone knows what they must, should, can, and cannot do. If problems occur, it is not the end of the world, but the issue cannot be summarily dismissed. Your first step is always to contact our office as soon as you know there's a problem. We will then proceed as necessary. If a campus incident is indeed a testing irregularity and should be reported to TEA, our expectation, like TEA's, is that the campus takes steps to resolve it in the present and prevent it in the future. TEA takes test security seriously, so they include a wealth of resources at the URL indicated at the top of this frame to help districts and campuses to that end. TEA has released the 2018 Test Security Supplement, which presents additional guidance and recommendations, and the agency also offers lots of samples, hints, and supports to assist in smooth, error-free test administration. MISD Assessment's Google Drive public folder also contains the Test Security Supplement and other resources for your benefit. As always, the job of MISD Assessment is to provide guidance and support to you, so feel free to contact us if you have questions. We also encourage you to make use of our informational resources on the web, including our website and YouTube channel, and you can follow us on Twitter at MISD Assessment. We'll do our best to provide the most up-to-date information available regarding STAR testing. Thanks for watching.